This work session for this evening, and if there's anybody on that. Okay. Our agenda items for this evening's meeting will be whole business, be permission to water playground equipment, includes installation not to exceed $16,000. Mr. Greer is handling that. That is, Roger, this is the second time.
Second reading, yes, we're requesting council approval on that to go ahead and purchase.
Okay. Thank you. And then item 2 is permission to contract with Waterworks to install a water meter at Crumlin Park not to exceed $1,275. That's installation charge, but then we have a reoccurring bill.
That's right.
This is also the second time it's been on the agenda.
That's correct.
So we take action on that tonight.
Yeah.
And then item 3 would be to approve instructor training for the police department K-9 program at a cost of $14,475. Chief Benton went through that last meeting, and you have anything else to share on that tonight? Are we okay?
Ready to go?
Okay.
It's approved.
This also is the second time on the agenda, so we can take action on that this evening. Okay, and then item 4 is permission to purchase splash pad not to exceed XXXXX. Okay.
We have this Holden here, just Holden tonight. I want her to come and give council and the public, anybody, information on the splash pads before we talk about the kind of purchase.
Okay, we'll go ahead and do that now.
Yes, sir. I put in there, in the folder, you're gonna have a rendering, which I'm pretty sure y'all have seen, but there is a rendering. There's color choices and the warranty information in there as well, so that you have a little bit more information on what we're looking at. So any questions I can try to answer? We're looking at a 2,800 square foot area.
You explained
3,200.
Was it 3,200? It might be, yep.
3,200?
I think it is, yep. I think we went up, didn't we, because of the new structure?
That's right.
This is something that we've been working on. Coach Dickerson had this as a project, we've been working on it for how many years? 5 years. Working on this plan, and then it's changed a few times. But this is the final plans that we've had.
Yes, sir.
What is the not to exceed amount? I mean, why is it?
Well, at the time, we had communicated back and forth, we didn't know the exact amount. And it's,
$400?
$400,000 even, I think.
I think it's 400, 177, 171.
I coach it. You got it, coach?
Yeah.
Okay.
Tell us what it is.
It's $400,171.20.
All right. Just bringing you up to speed is when we went to the bond market some years ago, this was part of what we presented at the bond market. To borrow the money, we came back, we built the stadium, the football stadium, and the track, and the soccer fields, and everything that we've done over there. But we managed that contract in order to keep the money set aside to build the splash pad, because it was included on it. So that's where the funding comes from to cover the cost and installation of this splash pad.
To give you a little bit idea, so I work for a company called Pet and Playground. Our mother company is Hercules Incorporated. We're located in Eclectic. We've been there for 32 years. We manufacture, install anything from plastic bags up to playground equipment. So we're a local company. Splash pads, we have been doing, I guess, about 10 years. It all started with a pet waste bag, and we have just grown from there. So we're very excited to do it, excited to work with the city since we're so close. We have also, we're going to donate the welcome and rule sign as well as the fitness equipment to go along with this too. So we'll have some outdoor fitness equipment that we're going to find where you guys want to put throughout the city, and we'll get that installed as well. So
Where have y'all installed some of the splash pads?
So the most local one to us is gonna be Alex City at the Sportsplex. And we did that 2 years ago. And it would fit 5 times in this splash pad. It's a very small one, but there's room to grow, so.
That was my question. This one compared to, this one is larger.
Very much, yes, sir, yes, sir. I think that one is probably about 850 square feet. It's very small. It would hold about 15 to 20 kids safely. This one, on the other hand, is gonna be, depending on the age groups, you're looking at 25 to 45 kids at a time. If not more, depending on the age group.
Any other question?
Yes, looking on the overhead picture, looking straight down, on the little dots, are those places where water will come up?
Yes, sir, they're gonna be in-ground nozzles.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And will we have to have someone manning it all the time?
It's the hours that it's open. Yes, we'll have someone there. It'll have certain hours that it's operational.
In addition to that, it'll also have bollards. I think there's 3 on that plan. Sorry, I deal with a lot of different plans, but I think there's 3. And so it's a touch bollard. So you will set it per whatever y'all choose for it to run an hour, run 30 minutes, whatever you choose. And so it'll turn off. And so a child will have to go up and hit that bollard for it to come back on for that time amount.
I know we had put this off for a little bit, and then I think y'all had some issues too and had to delay it a little bit. What is the start date for this? I don't think we can approve 400,000 when we don't know the date.
Correct. So we are looking at about late November. With anything now, it's the manpower is really what it is. The workforce is just so bad that all of our different departments, it's just hard to get any workforce to manufacture them as well as install it, so.
Sure. And if we start in late November, how
It'll take
long?
about a week and a half.
That's it?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep, they will get in and get it done.
Are you okay with late November? Sure, that's all I got.
Anything else?
I would like to point out on that drawing, you see the big water tower. On the face of that is a big iron logo. And so it will be whatever logo you choose. I'm assuming the big Wetumpka logo, but it's customized for the city. So I just thought that was pretty neat. So, especially being on 14, if it's situated that way and you can see it, I think that would be really pretty.
The old facility that's there, which was the concession stand and restrooms for when that was the ball field. We've used it as a maintenance building for doing maintenance on those properties over there. But that will be converted back as a facility to be used along with the splash pad. So we'll have the restrooms, we'll have the changing rooms, whatever you need to do in that building. And then the additional building that we were talking about, that we are looking at building over there, Tex, that's a 40 by 60.
Well, it's 60 by 80 is what we looked at last, and we really had never got the configuration down. We looking at somewhere between 35 and 4,500 square feet. Once we get we have the conceptual, not conceptual, a drawing coming from, Chambers and Associates, that's gonna lay the footprint out. Once we get this footprint on there, we gotta call him, and he's supposed to have that to us next week or so. So that way we can do the footprint on the building and decide what configuration we want.
But this would be a great addition for the community as a whole, that even with football complex being there, if you've got a 7-on-7 tournament going on, coaches tournaments and all of that, you can utilize this building along with the other facilities we have there. And also be utilized like we have used the MLK building over the years. It can serve a lot of needs here in the community. So we're excited about being able to get that building in place also. Any other questions?
Mayor, are there lights over there? I don't remember. Like, can we use it at night?
There will be lights.
The question was asked about personnel, and Jessica, you probably need to explain the difference between recirculated water
I
and
will.
fresh water, because that has a big bearing on whether or not we keep people there
Correct.
or not.
So this is actually gonna be a freshwater splash pad. So the main reason is cost, as well as with a freshwater, you don't have to test the water on a daily basis. You don't have to, there's so many different things that you have to do with a sitting pool, especially open to the public. So we decided to go with a freshwater, so that way it's continuously just pumping out fresh water. I know it sounds expensive, because it sounds wasteful, but at the same time, honestly, the splash pad build itself would be about double the price for recirculating, as well as then you also have to test the water on a daily basis. You have chemicals that you will have to add to the water every day. The chemicals will also wear down your concrete, which is your play surface. It's also not really great on your poly-coated equipment. So over time, it's actually more costly to do the recirculating versus the freshwater. So we decided to go with freshwater for this one.
And how many kids can be on here at one time?
So it depends on, he was asking that just a minute ago, it depends on the age group, but around 25 to 50. I mean, if you have a kindergarten group out there, I mean, you can probably get 75 kids out there. So it really just depends on size and kids. I mean, my 3-year-old is the size of my 8-year-old because he's a big kid, so it really just depends on kid size and what all they're doing. If you're just having a closed off birthday party, you can probably have 100 kids out there because it's closed off, it's not open to the public at that time, that type of thing.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
You are very welcome. I will gladly answer anything else anybody needs.
Okay. Okay, under new business this evening, ordinance 2022, an ordinance to amend the code of ordinances of the city of Wetumpka, chapter 62, solid waste.
All right, the ordinance, as we have drafted up is in your packet. There's also a presentation in your packet. If you don't mind, I'll kind of run through the presentation right quick, kind of give you a rundown of what the ordinance was. This presentation was given, I don't remember the date. We had a public involvement meeting at Civic Center about 2 weeks ago. And, for the most part, we didn't have any comments, whatever comments we were able to talk through. So if you go over to the slide that says topics, basically what this presentation is, it's kind of a summarization of how we got here with Delaware County Commission, some cost analysis, or how we're gonna assess revenue, the plan of action that we're gonna have, how we're proposing our fees, the cost revenue analysis, and then the appeals process and some exceptions and variations. So on the introduction slide, basically, y'all very well know that we had to redo our trash pickup for the whole county. We extended ours June 1st, and a lot of them cut their contract short to get there. So the county commission rebid the entire county, and it was suggested that we remove this area from that bid because of the complications of our downtown area, and the trash company was not able to service it with the side pickup. They had to have it additional men. So the area in red there is what we excluded from that bid, which became our trash ordinance area. So then if we go to the next slide, what does this mean? How are we going to do it? And then what's it going to cost? So our cost analysis, we're using a range here because we don't really know exactly how it's going to work. We have a really good idea. We've evaluated multiple alternatives. Basically, we've already approved and we're awaiting our trash truck to show up. And we're going to be leasing that. So that's going to, that fee goes into this monthly fee. And then the container costs, I think we have that figured out with the county. It's not going to be cost there. Fuel costs, as you all well know, continue to go up. And then the maintenance, there's a budget item in there for maintenance for the truck on a monthly basis in this budget. And we're expecting that it costs us $3,500 to $5,500 a month to operate the equipment and perform maintenance. Labor and overhead, we're proposing 2 part-time employees. They will be full-time employees at Public Works, but they will, for this analysis, we're counting them as part-time employees assigned downtown. So it won't be additional employees. We're actually, we'll get to that in a minute, but I think what we're proposing here will make us more efficient. We have somebody handling customer service and the cooperation with the county. And then we got to have somebody handle the billing, collections, and record keeping part of it. The only way we're able to do this is we're cooperating with the county to handle our tipping fees. Our tipping fees has been incorporated with the rest of the county's costs. All we do is pick up the trash downtown, take it to our waste collection facility up on Red Eagle Drive, and put it into their roll-off. And the fee to dump those roll-offs has already been included in everybody else's price. So we don't have a tipping fee. If we had to pay tipping fee, there's no way we could dream about doing it this way. So our total average estimated cost that we're proposing on the front end is $7,500 a month is what we expect it costs us on the front end. The cost analysis, the next cost analysis spreadsheet, the only thing I'm trying to show you guys here is the multiple alternatives that we ran. Don't try to dive into these numbers. I was just trying to show our downtown businesses and trying to show you guys that there were multiple alternatives that we ran on this deal with. This really started with what do we do with businesses that are in buildings that don't have an area for dumpsters. So we ran that alternative. What it looked like if we just pick up downtown and try to remove all the dumpsters, all the way to, all right, what does it take to break even? How many patrons do we need, paying customers do we need to break even? And I mean, that shows 1,200 customers, and there's no way we're able to do that feasibly within the city. So anyway, that's what that slide is. I'm not trying to make any decisions off of that. I'm just trying to show you guys that there's multiple alternatives that were evaluated in this process. So the way the ordinance is proposing to assess the revenue for this is through an amendment to our existing solid waste ordinance, and then we're proposing to administratively connect that amendment to the business license ordinance. So how we're proposing, again, we're proposing this as a yearly fee that will be collected in conjunction with the business licenses, because we already have a billing and collection system set up for that inside the city. And there's for lack of a better word, teeth there, that if you don't pay for your trash, you don't get your business license. So there's a way for us to keep them accountable, to make sure we get the fees collected. They'll be prorated according to the business license ordinance. The business license ordinance currently, if you go into business between January and June, you're charged the full year. If you go into business July to December, you're charged half the year. So the trash ordinance will be prorated, exactly like that as well. And then the fee will be based off of business type or residential need. And this fee, the county bid for the whole county for residents, the whole county was $23.87 per month. And that will be adjusted annually with the CPI index, just like government contracts are adjusted. So we're basing all of our analysis on what the county received as a bid to try to be fair to our businesses downtown, and not necessarily looking at how much is it really gonna cost, but just trying to be fair to our businesses and then try to make that up elsewhere. So, any questions so far?
Yeah, you're right. County's gonna pick it up once a week. Theirs, right?
In the county, yes, sir.
We're gonna pick it up 4 days a week.
We're planning on collecting it 4 days a week, yes, sir. And the reason why that, because we do have restaurants that have to be picked up. So, you know, we may not pick up the residences up on top of the hill 4 times a week, but we will be in the downtown area servicing the downtown area 4 times a week. And again, how much, we'll get to that in a minute. All right, so some of the variations and stuff. So, all right, so the business type or residential need, the way we've done this is there's 2 residential levels. So you need 1 can, or if you only want 1 can, you get your own level 1. If you need 2 cans, you're on level 2. The businesses are a little bit more, are a little different. So business level 1, we're including in that is professional and administrative offices, barbers, beauticians, agent offices, people that don't generate any food or drinks, and typically just have paper waste is what we're trying to target there. Business level 2 will be the health offices and dental offices and chiropractic. That's higher volume of waste, still no food and drink producing establishments, but that's where the retail falls there. So you would expect higher waste generation in those type businesses. And then business level 3 would be daycares and lounges and bars. So food and drink producing, but not restaurants, not traditionally restaurants, but they are producing liquid, high volume, high weight waste. And then business level 4 will be at the actual restaurants and entertainment venues. And where we're proposing that is we want the restaurants that are currently have their commercial dumpsters to keep their commercial dumpsters to help us out. Number one, we're trying to get that cost to be the same as them having a dumpster. And then 2, it's working pretty well with them right now, and we'd like them to keep their dumpsters. So there will be some type of approval process to be able to enter level 4. For instance, the Tim's deal on the corner. If we can ever get a restaurant in there, they don't have a place for their trash without putting a dumpster in the middle of the street or down at the end of the road there. So they could come, we have it drafted where they come to apply to the city clerk to be accepted in level 4, and then we assess their fee on business license, and then we pick up their trash. Same thing with Copper House. So really, business level 4 is directed at Copper House Deli and the Tim's Place restaurant because of their just their handicap there, the way the building is situated. And then there's some other businesses that we haven't defined yet, nor do we have downtown. But if in the event that one of those comes in, then we'll assess that at that time. So if we flip to the next page with proposed costs, the residential level 1 will be 1 time the county's bid, so that's the same thing they'd be paying out the county. Residential level 2 will be 1.5 times the county bid, which is the same thing they'd be paying out the county. And then the business level 1 would be 1 times the base fee. Business level 2, 1.5. Business level 3, 3 times the base fee. And then business level 4, the ordinance is drawn up. When I gave this presentation, I was still researching the cost there, but the ordinance is drawn up as 8 times the base fee on business level 4. So you can see the county bids down here at the bottom right of that slide. They received one bid of $23.87 and another bid of $29.57. So they awarded the contract to Aero Disposal at $23.87 a month. So we're trying to keep it as reasonable for these businesses downtown, just like they would be out in the county. So the next page here is the actual cost. It would cost these residents or businesses. You can see the quarterly fees. That's what you would typically expect the county to bill. I think they bill quarterly, where we're proposing to bill yearly. Again, because we already have a system set up that way. And when during our public involvement meeting, there was one business that spoke out against it, but all the other businesses were for the yearly fee. And she ended up saying that everybody else is for it, and we'll go for it. So that was pretty well received based off of our public involvement meeting that we had. All right, so the revenue versus cost, and this is based on our current residential places downtown and the current business license that we have downtown. Our total monthly revenue right now would be almost $2,700. And you can remember that our average monthly cost is $7,500. So we're trying to be as fair as we can. We are going to be technically, if you just look at it from this aspect, losing money every month to service the downtown area. But with Chapel, and John, we've come up with some other areas to be able to utilize the equipment and the personnel to make us more efficient in some other areas that I think in the long run will be about a break even from a city standpoint based on that equipment. So we're going to use the equipment to make us more efficient in some other areas and save us on some labor that we're currently having. So, all right, any questions so far now? We're good? We can read the ordinance if you wanted to.
We're going to read it.
So, the initial assessment will be by business license type. We've already sent that out to the businesses. I don't have that for me tonight, but I'll get that to you as soon as possible. So again, this is what we're proposing. We're going to have to make some adjustments. We're going to have to be flexible going forward, and hopefully everybody will understand that. And then any appeals that we have issues with will obviously come to you guys to hear that case and go from there. So some of the things that we're trying to become more efficient in, and it'll be a little bit different than something out in the county, is that we're not giving every business a can. We're going to have multiple businesses using the same can. Number one, to limit the number of cans spread out to the downtown area. Hopefully it helps with the beautification of the downtown area. And then number two, if we're down there 4 times a week, we should be able to service those cans more periodically and more frequently and keep up with the waste. It also gives us the ability on events to double the amount of cans that's downtown. So we'll be able to service our events a lot better. That hopefully will help our businesses out more down there too. One exception that we'll have is if there's multiple businesses at the same location with the same owner, they will only pay 1 fee, and that will be at the highest level. So, for instance, not pointing anybody out, but I think the Ball Variety Shop, she has 4 business licenses at that address under her name. She will only be charged 1 fee.
Elevated.
Yeah, whatever's the highest level will be that fee. And then if you have a commercial dumpster contract, it would alleviate you from the burden of paying the revenue assessment. And then level 4 customers will need to be approved. So that's kind of the summary of the ordinance. I know the ordinance in with 3 or 4 pages, but this makes more sense to me to explain it this way. Y'all have any questions or any concerns, any
So
suggestions?
licenses are due
January.
January, yeah, from January until
February 15th.
February 15th to buy a business license.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so during that period, you would also be satisfying your garbage pickup.
Yes, sir. And you won't be charged the rest of the year for that accessibility fee. This first year, we're working on getting this ordinance passed and given that it's approved and we get the motions to get it all passed. At that point, whenever that is, August, July, September, whenever we get the ordinance approved and it's actually on the books, we will send out a deal for the rest of this year. So it'd be a half year.
I know with all the events that we have in downtown now, and there are numerous events, that he has to send people down. We know when that event is to make sure that we've serviced that area, we've picked it up and it's clean. But this way, you've got a schedule that you're gonna be in there getting it. Now, my other concern would be any recycling items that we get. Can you pick those up at the same time, or is it?
So we're proposing to, we're proposing to be in downtown 4 times a week. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, I think it was. That gives us Tuesday and Thursday to run the recycling route and the cardboard route. That's where we want to make up some of our efficiency there. That's why we're saying 4 times. So the recycling Tuesday and Thursday, the cardboard Tuesday and Thursday, and we'll be able to use, it's our understanding we'll be able to use the truck for that route.
Well, what we have built and what we have developed downtown, it brought along a problem, was how to dispose of the trash. And in New York, a little bit bigger than us, but in New York, they run the wee hours of the morning, and it's all stacked up on the streets at night. And then they come in there and clean the streets and get the trash. So essentially, we're gonna be doing the same thing. What time of the day, or we're gonna run it in some off hours where we're not dealing with it?
I think Chaplain had proposed running at 6 a.m. in the morning, so to beat school traffic, get in downtown, get out, so those guys can come in an hour early to do that.
Any other questions? Yes, sir.
I was downtown today and I ran into 2 business owners. Both of them's questions was about the trash.
Mm-hmm.
So my question is, who do I tell them to call?
Yeah. I
So I just, I just called to see everything and told them to say I have questions about it.
I'll be answered directly.
Yeah. Because that's the only questions I asked. I think 90%.
I got some messages today as well, and, I, by no means do I want to be harsh in this or anything else, but we're being overly fair. I mean, there's legal grounds to charge these people what it costs. So we could be 3 times higher than where we are, and if we have legal grounds to do that. We're actually putting burden on taxpayers to try to cover this. So, again, I don't want to be harsh. I don't want to be anything like that, but we're trying, I think it's as fair as you can be downtown, and, I don't have any issues tossing for them to it. I think in the end, they're going to get a better service. We're going to be able to keep our downtown, in better order, which is going to create more business for them. In the end, it's going to be a win-win for everybody. And I don't take this lightly, because I know I have my own business too, but we are only talking about $24 a month. You know what I mean? Up to maybe 50, with the 2 that had concerns. Is that something to look over? No, I'm not saying that, but, hopefully we at the city and our public works department will be able to help downtown make up that $50 a month in some kind of way,
Well, I mean, when the era said they didn't want to do that for it, I mean, what do you do? And
Arrow didn't specifically say that, but the county, when they started bidding it, got some pushback on, hey, we're not doing it if we got to pick up downtown. And that was from multiple different, providers, service providers.
But they specifically didn't say that, but others did.
Yeah,
What you're saying.
so on the front end, we excluded it
Right.
because of the information we had for the bid.
Right.
So the question.
Any other questions? Okay. Thank you, good job. The new business, item 6, approve proposal for professional services to prepare and submit letter of map revision based off field LOMR-F to FEMA for the baseball complex, football track complex, parking area within the sports complex.
All right, so the property we have out there is a FEMA floodplain. We did this with softball fields, but didn't do it after the baseball fields and haven't done it after the football fields. So this was basically, in 2014, FEMA updated all the maps and all this work was done after that. So we've got to submit in a letter of map revision, to update the maps, which will eventually, it'll ultimately remove all of our buildings out of flood. So, we administer our own floodplain ordinance. We are we need to do this to keep us in compliance with FEMA if we get audited. But then if anybody asks about the buildings that we have financing on or anything like that, right now they're currently in a floodplain. So technically, if we have a mortgage on or something like that, we would be required to pay flood insurance. So by doing this, it removes both of those issues that we have.
The softball was built first, then we built baseball. Sometime during that, when we started baseball, they raised that 3 feet, didn't they?
No, they actually
Lowered it 3 feet.
That's right.
And we didn't have to build it up as much.
Yeah, so that initial the map revision that was initiated by FEMA caught the softball complex. So we didn't have to go through this with softball complex because it all happened at one time. They don't have any plans on doing anything anytime soon. So this is just what we have to do to follow up on our area.
All right. Any questions on that? Then item 7 will be permission to enter into professional services agreement with TTL on environmental consulting services for the Wetumpka Airport. Anyone speaking to that?
Yes, sir, I am. This is just a renewal of our contract that we already have a contract with TCL. This is just the renewal. And basically, we're required to sample our stormwater discharge twice a year. And also, they apply for our permit that we're required to have for that, for us. And this is at a cost of roughly $4,800 for the year, and that's what this is for. It's just to approve this contract for us to continue to use them for stormwater sampling.
Okay, so there is a cost in it?
Yes, sir, it is, for the stormwater sampling, it's $2,200 an annual sum, $2,600 annual sum, and then for them to prepare our permit, it's $2,200.
So for a total of
48.
4,800.
Yes, sir.
Well,
And that is not,
fee.
beg your pardon?
And the ADM fee.
And the ADM fee, but that doesn't include the ADM fee that we would pay directly, and that's $1,385. So that's not part of the contract.
So that's an expense, so it'll have to carry over, is that what we're saying?
Yes, sir.
Well, this is only $4,800. It's less, it's only the contract.
If you add the other fee to it.
But that's not part of this contract.
It's not-
Yeah, we don't pay
That's
that
not part of the
direct.
contract. We pay that directly.
So we can move forward with that.
Yes, sir.
Okay, then item 8, permission to bid fire station.
Early in this administration, y'all gave, us permission to contract with Goodwin Mills and Kaywood for professional services to design the fire station for the west side. We are to the point now where we're ready to, bid that project. and, we're here tonight asking permission to move forward with that.
Okay, and that is part of,
Yeah, that was part of the capital improvement plan that we proposed last meeting. Right now, we have a budget of $4 million for the fire station in the capital improvement plan.
any questions on this?
I'm just glad he said it figure rather than me. I thought about it.
Any further questions? So he's not on sleep tonight. And then item 9 is to approve agricultural lease with Wetumpka Municipal Airport. That's an ongoing thing that.
Yes, sir. So this agreement, the airport is 200 acres, so give or take a little bit. We bid a contract a couple council meetings ago for 100 acres that surrounded the airport. I mean, the hangars and the strip and the grass runway. So that's about 100 acres. This agreement would be for where they bale hay, and that's about 100 acres back there. Mr. Womble we're proposing, the agreement proposes, is with, the proposed agreement is with Mr. Womble, who has maintained this area since 2001. I'm tired of talking.
It was since I.
So he's maintained, he's had this agreement since 2001, so it's really just renewing it. We revised it. It was a 5-year agreement. We changed it to 3. That way it matches the other agreement that we just did. So.
Millbrook's still putting the waste on that area.
Yes, sir.
That's fertilizer.
I don't know what to call it.
So we don't have to bid, that baling of the hay out?
No.
He's paying us.
Yeah.
We're getting money in.
Well, so this agreement is a no-cost agreement. And the reason why we did it this way is that there's about 40 acres out there that is not suitable for hay production. And he has agreed to maintain those areas, and offset that cost with the hay.
All right, any further questions on that?
Sure, we'll make it.
Item 10,
We're coming out.
permission to install final meter at 1178 Oakville Road for tennis courts and parking lot at a cost of $400 a month. They're asking to suspend the rules because they're out there wiring all that stuff now.
Yes, it's ready. It's ready. Be hooked up.
We're asking to suspend the rules tonight to go ahead and approve that.
Yeah, and this is the tennis courts out there, the sports complex that the Board of Education is paid for.
That's right.
So our only cost in this is the power for meter, everyone.
That's getting that pickleball in there too.
Supposedly.
Wow. All right, that concludes our work session, so we'll call a meeting to order.
Time to start.
And the invocation this evening be given by Councilperson Brown, and the pledge be offered this evening by Councilperson Tucker.
Let us pray. Our most gracious Heavenly Father, we just thank you for this day, for the many blessings of life. We thank you for this city. We thank you for each employee, for each department, for our city council and our mayor, and all of those who work diligently and daily to move our city forward. Father, we know this wouldn't be possible if it were not for you. We give you all the glory for the things that we do. Father, we ask you to be with this nation, be with our leaders, help them in any way you can, Father, to know that our country needs to progress and move forward. Be with those people in Ukraine, Father, as they are in a daily, very stressful situation. We pray for each of them and for their leaders. These things we ask in your precious name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with with liberty and justice for all.
We went inside Bryant Daily Stadium the other night and stuck over here, which cites the pledge for us quite often in here. She got a little anxious. She looked like to me she was going to break out into that national anthem. There were 4 or 5 of us in that stadium. That's a huge place. That's a huge place. We had a good time. Okay, roll call.
Councilmember Robbins,
Still here.
Councilmember Tucker. Here. Councilmember Justice, Councilmember Gann,
Yo, here.
Councilmember Brown,
Here.
Mayor Willis.
Here. Think we're gonna be able to go all the way through this?
Yeah, I'm good. Just let y'all know.
Okay, old business this evening. You received in your packet, copy of the minutes from the council meeting held on May the 2nd, 2022. Any corrections to those minutes? If not, we'll entertain a motion to approve.
I move we approve the minutes.
We got the motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Got the second, all in favor, let it be known, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? So those minutes have been approved. Now, the old business. Item 1, permission to order playground equipment, which includes installation not to exceed $16,000. This is in Network Park.
Yes.
So we will entertain a motion to move forward with this project.
I move we move forward with the playground equipment.
Okay, we'll take that motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? So that will be upgraded and get that park back in good standing. Permission to contract with Water Works to install a water meter at Cromwell Park not to exceed $1,275. This is the second time. We're going to take a motion. Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, have a motion, we have a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? So that too has been granted. Item 3, approved instructor training for the police department K-9 program at a cost of $14,475. The second time on the agenda, we'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Okay, we get that. Need a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? So that too has been granted. Item 4, permission to purchase splash pad not to exceed 400.
400.
171.
171.20.
Give it to me again.
400,000, 171.20.
Okay, y'all got that? We'll entertain a motion to move forward.
I move that we, move forward with the splash pad not to exceed 400,171.
36 cents. Okay. You have the motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? So that too has been approved. Under new business, ordinance 2022, an ordinance to amend the code of ordinances of the city of Wetumpka, chapter 62, solid waste. This is the first time you need to read it.
Great.
Please feel free.
An ordinance to amend the code of ordinance of the city of Wetumpka, chapter 62, solid waste. Be it ordained by the city council of the city of Wetumpka as follows. Section 1, the definition of contract contained in section 62-1 of the code of ordinances of the city of Wetumpka is hereby amended to read as follows. Contractor means that person designated by the city to provide solid waste collection services for the residents and businesses of the city. The City of Wetumpka may from time to time act as contractor to dispose of solid waste within specified solid waste collection district limits. Section 62-5 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Wetumpka is hereby amended to add the following. E, it shall be illegal to place solid waste and/or trash which is generated or produced from outside of the city's solid waste collection district in a container within the city's solid waste collection district. Section 3, Chapter 62 shall have an additional section added to it. Section 62-17, creation of downtown solid waste collection district. Created herein is the downtown solid waste collection district, which shall be comprised of the following original lots, inclusive of the sublots of such original lots in East Wetumpka. Lots 197 through 212, 222 through 226, 242 through 253, and 281 through 282 as reflected on the official map of Wetumpka. The city shall be responsible for collecting owners and lessees within the district shall comply with the terms of this ordinance. Business owners shall pay for the collection of solid waste in the district through the business license fees, which shall be amended to reflect the amount required for the collection of waste. Residential owners shall be assessed and pay a separate waste impact fee. Said fee shall be determined by the city clerk in accordance with the terms specified herein. Section 4, Chapter 62 shall have an additional section added to it. Section 62-18, fees for downtown solid waste collection district. 8, there is hereby levied and assessed a waste impact fee upon all persons and/or entities owning or leasing real property within the downtown solid waste collection district here in the district. B, the city clerk or its designee is hereby directed to collect the waste impact fee with the annual business license for all businesses within the district. C, all residences within the district are required to pay into the city clerk the annual waste impact fee on January 1 of each year, and said fee shall be delinquent if not paid prior to March 15th of each year. D, each person entity will be assigned a waste impact level based on their business type and size or residential use. The waste impact level shall determine the number of cans allocated to each business and/or residence and the proportionate fee assessed for same. The fee schedule for each level shall be multiplied by the accepted trash service bid price amount and associated CPI index changes, as said bids are accepted by the Elmore County Commission as follows. Residential level 1, one-time multiplier. Residential level 2, 1.5 time multiplier. Business level 1, one-time multiplier. Business level 2, 1.5 time multiplier. Business level 3, 3-time multiplier. Business level 4, 8-time multiplier. E, the Director of Public Works shall assign each NAICS code within the City of Wetumpka Business License Ordinance a waste impact level as described in subsection D above, and provide such list to the city clerk. Waste impact level designations are to be based on the type of business and the amount of waste the business type is expected to generate, such that the business type pays a proportionate amount for waste collection services to the amount of waste generally produced by that type of business. F, annual waste impact fees for new applicants may be prorated by the city clerk based on the annual amount, which shall be prorated biannually beginning in June of the new application. G, any business or resident may be relieved of paying the annual waste impact fee by showing them to the city clerk proof that the business or resident has arranged for private garbage collection services which comply with this chapter. H, approval for waste pickup to any business specified as level 4 must be obtained from the city clerk. I, if multiple businesses are located at the same address and are owned by the same owner, the city clerk shall assess a single impact fee for said address and shall base the impact fee on the highest business level of the multiple businesses thereupon. J, the city clerk shall give a final notice for failure to pay delinquent waste impact fees prior to initiating further action to collect said fees. The final notice shall generally be in the following form. Final notice, your garbage service will be discontinued if this bill is not paid by insert final due date. If there is any dispute concerning the amount due on this bill, you may call the city clerk at 334-567-5147 or bring this bill to the office of the city clerk at 408 South Main Street, Wetumpka, Alabama 36092, between the hours of 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. Monday through Friday. K, delinquent waste impact fees shall accrue statutory interest. The city attorney is authorized to file suit on behalf of the city for collection of unpaid fees in the court of competent jurisdiction. Section 5, any form of ordinance conflicting with the provisions of this ordinance is hereby repealed. Section 6, the provisions of this ordinance are severable. If any section, subsection, schedule, or provision of this ordinance be for any reason declared unconstitutional or otherwise invalid, it shall have no effect on the remaining provisions of this ordinance. Section 7, this ordinance shall be effective upon the adoption and publication as required by law.
That's the first reading. Okay. Item 6, B, to approve proposal for professional services to prepare and submit the letter of map revision based off of field LOMR-L to FEMA for the baseball complex, football track complex, and parking areas within the sports complex. You will entertain a motion to move forward.
So moved.
Second.
That's a tough time to give me a second. Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. Any further discussion on this? If not, all in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? So that has been granted. Then item 7, permission to enter into a professional services agreement with TTL for environmental consulting services for the Wetumpka Airport at a combined fee of $4,800.
So moved.
Okay, we'll take that.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion, we have a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
That permission has been granted. Item 8, permission to bid fire station.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. We have a motion, we have a second. Any further discussion on this? All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay. So that permission has been granted, and then item 9 would be to approve the agricultural lease with, Mr. Womble for the Wetumpka Municipal Airport.
So moved.
We have a second.
Second.
Have a motion, we have a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? So that approval has been granted. And then item 10, permission to install a power meter at 1178 Hopewell Road for tennis courts and parking lot at a cost of $400 per month. I'm asking to suspend the rules, so
Yeah, motion to suspend the rules and bring up immediately.
we have a motion to suspend the rules. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, roll call.
Okay. Councilmember Robbins?
Yes.
Councilmember Tucker?
Yes.
Councilmember Gann?
Yes.
Councilmember Brown?
Yes.
Mayor Willis?
Yes. Rules having been suspended, we'll move forward to grant this permission. We'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
So moved.
I got Ms. Tucker down here and I got Gann over here squirming.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
we got the motion, we got the second. Any further discussion?
I don't know what you're about. Cool.
That's right. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
So that permission has been granted. Thank you. Okay, I don't know how much we get paid an hour. We've been there an hour now.
I was hoping Justin could tell us some more stuff.
And I'm just glad that you can stay that time even first. It makes a difference. Okay, motion to adjourn. So moved. All right, we'll stand adjourned.